All right. Well, we started our recording, so I suppose since we have a couple friends joining us that we can dive in this morning. Cynthia, Scott, do y'all have anything? Colt, do y'all have anything you want to say to start us off before I just kind of give an update? No? Okay. Maybe Colt does.
Oh, no, I don't have anything.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
here to listen. And if you have questions, feel free to ask.
Okay. Cool. Well, Micah, Jamie, thank you for joining us, and Scott Jensen too. Thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Duncan, and I am the chair of our Leadership and Administrative Skills Committee. Laura, do you want to introduce yourself?
Certainly. Oh, I'm already off mute. I'm Laura Kenny. I am an equine educator in Pennsylvania. So I'm by Philadelphia, and I am the Northeast Regional co-chair.
Yes, and Laura has been a wonderful asset to our committee. This is my first year on the committee. Laura has been on the committee for some time, and she has been such a wealth of information, and I really appreciate her. Um, so, just a few updates about what's been going on with our committee. We have a full slate of presentations that are coming in Denver. So, we have 12. They have great topics, everything from how to go about being in an interim role to how interim roles are affecting other folks in extension. We also have topics about um, succession and how to actually help the upcoming generation of extension professionals. And as we're climbing the ladder, how to make sure we're turning around and extending a hand down and pulling folks up with us. Um, and then other things about collaborating with local stakeholders and just lots of great topics coming to y'all in Denver. And then four of those are from our Leadership Academy. And those folks have spent the last year or so, well, about 8, 10 months with us taking monthly webinar sessions about different leadership topics. We've talked about emotional intelligence. We talked about work-life balance. We've talked about different generations in the workplace and how to get along with everybody. We've had a great time with this group. We had 13 participants. They've done a great job, and I'm excited to hear from them in their presentations in Denver. And then we also have 14 incoming Academy members coming in for the 26-27 year. And so they'll be joining us in Denver to get to know each other in person before they start their journey through the Academy sessions throughout the year before we head to AMPIC again next year for them to present. So those are the major things really going on with us at the moment. Laura, anything you want to add there?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Um, and just for some background for Micah and Jamie, we're the Leadership and Administrative Skills Committee. We administer that academy, and that's open to anybody. Applications have closed for this year, but definitely promote that to your folks for next year. And that was made possible through our foundation. Cynthia, do you want to say anything about that?
Well, I can if you want me to, Anna.
Just a
I'll just
little
do
bit,
the
sure.
Reader's Digest condensed version. Ha,
Sure.
and Scott's laughing at me. Jensen, that is. Probably Hallbaker too. But anyway, there was some anonymous donations made for leadership development. And of course, the foundation, as many of you may or may not know, we're keeper of the professional development, quote unquote, monies and for scholarships and this academy and the Klachinsky Award. That was a different set of money. But the folks that donated that money wanted to have something to help develop leaders, not only for our association, but to help develop those leaders out in their states and their communities and everything as well. Give them new skills or improve the skills they already had, that kind of stuff. So it's very nice that we have that monies that we can actually get your speaker, one of the speakers that you have every year. So that's kind of how that started. And I will come off as chair in 2027 after we finish in St. Paul. So if you have any questions about foundation, if you can't get anybody from the scholarship committee, or if Anna doesn't, know some of the ins and outs, which, just give one of us a call. And Scott also is the liaison. Scott Jensen is the liaison for NACAA for the board to our foundation. So if you need anything, just call.
Awesome. Thank you. And our committee is kind of housed under the extension committee umbrella. Like, so Colt, do you want to say anything about that? Maybe not. I know he's kind of juggling a few things. Oh, go ahead, Colt.
Sorry, it took me a while to hit the button on my phone.
Oh, that's okay.
So yeah, we're your committee's nested under the Extension Development Council, along with early career development, teaching and educational technologies, and ag issues.
Yeah, so we appreciate Colt's leadership on that as well. So, I mean, at this point, I guess like we can open up for some questions and just see what y'all have questions about for us about the academy, about anything that our committee is doing or anything like that.
I guess I have a question for the leadership. Um, I'm kind of wondering if people have seen the Leadership Academy a couple of years now, and I think maybe those who are really excited about it have already done it. And we're getting lower and lower registrations each year. So I think we're at 13 for this year. We were at 13 for last year, and the goal was always 20. So we're kind of tossing around like, what do we do about this? Is it worth it to keep doing at lower numbers, or do we consider making it an every other year thing and hope we get some new folks, new to NACAA, new to extension each time? Just curious about your thoughts on that.
I would like to see some more outreach to solicit members before we tried to go to every other year. But, I think you're right. I think the initial cohort of folks that were really excited about it signed up. And now what we'll have to do is maybe do some kind of outreach or advertising campaign to solicit more folks to join the Leadership Academy.
Okay, well, we are certainly open to all ideas that you guys have for better outreach.
And I was just thinking too, I mean, there's enough new extension folks, if you look clear across the country, that um, probably have never had any exposure to it, that potentially, I mean, the challenge is always how do you reach all those folks? And but the other thought I had and is what about maybe, I don't know, using almost like some testimonials from some of the folks who've been through the academy now, what's been the benefit for them? And, just do they have any recommendations or whatever for potential new participants in it? And maybe somehow with, utilizing all of that, it could generate some additional interest.
Yeah, we do a final evaluation of all of the current cohort or previous cohort, I guess. And we ask for quotes that we can use. So we've been putting those on the advertisements, we've been putting those on the registration page just to try to get some more interest. We've been putting a news, or rather an article in one of the county agents' magazines with those quotes to try to rustle up some more interest.
And I will say, our different regional chairs have done a good job of reaching out to all the different states within their regions to contact the leadership in those states to try to push this program. But, you know, if it goes back out to the state membership from there, it's kind of beyond their hands.
Yeah, we do ask the state chairs to obviously send it out to their membership, but also maybe identify one or two people that you could personally invite to participate.
Then just one other thought, only because I was on a call a little bit earlier with some folks who are a bit younger than I am. And anyway, their comment on this other program that I'm helping with, they just said, it's such a today's world, video is the way, that's what people pay attention to, and they got to be short and direct and yada yada. But anyway, it made me just think maybe there's a couple of, dynamic participants that would be willing to do a little short 30-second, 1 minute, whatever little video things that could end up on the Facebook page or, other however else it got used to market. But seems like people watch those. They're more willing to watch than they are to read.
For
It's an
sure.
interesting idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was actually going to volunteer to bring my camera and record some testimonials and help put
Oh,
together some videos if you'd like at the upcoming AMPIC.
that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I love that.
Yeah, and I think we've been talking within our committee too about really infusing some more high engagement elements into this upcoming academy session. And so I think probably that may re-energize some folks and get them to have better like word of mouth sharing about the program too. So lots of good things coming, I think.
A weird question.
Sure.
Are you using any of the past members as possibly an instructor or something like that? Some of them might be good.
Yes, that was actually our last session that we just had. That some of the ones from last year came back and gave presentations for our current cohort, and it was great. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was good because they could give them some new content that wasn't already included in the academy, but then they also gave them some advice on developing their um, presentations, and they gave us updates on like some of them have taken these presentations and really run with them and given them throughout the state. And so it was, I guess we might need to do like a 1 year follow-up as well to find out how they've done since the academy because those were impressive.
Yes. And they had a lot of the good things to say about how they had just applied some of the information that they had learned from the academy. Some of them that have switched roles or, been voluntold for some leadership positions, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I did share that I've used my presentation probably 5 times since I did it that year, and I also got testimony. I'm national vice president.
That's awesome. Thank you,
Robin.
Tyrone.
We're gonna use you. We're gonna put you in all the advertisements.
Yeah.
Your
Look what
face
you
will
can
be all
do.
over it.
Oh, that's great. Any other comments or questions from everybody? I mean, I feel like we're pretty short and sweet.
There we go. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. Um, I jumped on. I'm the state committee chair for University of Wyoming Extension and was just curious. This meeting came through my inbox and I haven't participated before, so I really wanted to just sit in and see what the conversation was. I don't really have a question, but appreciate just listening in this morning. Thank you.
Of course, thank you for being here.
Another option, since you were mentioning newer agents maybe not knowing about it, when a new member does join, I will have that data in the system that will tell me what year they joined. So if we wanted to do targeted emails to new members, whether they're new in extension or not, I don't have that data, but at least I would know if they're new to NACAA
Yeah.
that, I'd be more than happy to share that or assist with sending out an e-blast to, new members within the last 12 months, 24 months, whatever it may be. Um,
That would
you
be
know,
fabulous.
might
Yeah.
might be another way to target those early career potentially early career members.
That would be fabulous. Yes, thank you.
And Scott, you said that, and it just made me think: is there a way that one of the co-chairs, vice chairs, or one of the former cohort members could actually go to the first timers meeting and actually talk about that a little bit? I mean, I don't know if there'd be time. I know there's a lot goes on at that, but that
Yeah, are
might
you
be
talking the
something.
orientation or
Yeah,
the luncheon?
probably the orientation for, this.
Yeah, I don't really set the agenda for that, but Colt's involved with it.
I was going to suggest the exact same thing, Cynthia, is to have someone come over, because what we've done the last two times, I guess, is we had a couple of the folks introduce themselves and explain AMPIC and how to get involved and stuff, and that would be a perfect opportunity for somebody from the Leadership Academy to come over and put a pitch in, and then we just turn everybody loose to mix and mingle, and then all the kind of the higher up folks, we just walk around and try to introduce ourselves to as many folks as possible and get going.
What day is that on? I'm trying to pull up
It's the first day of the conference, and that's Wednesday, correct, Scott?
Wednesday. I'm just worried it might overlap with the Leadership Academy.
Yeah, Leadership Academy is at 1:30, from 1:30 to 3.
Well, but if you could get, at least one of the vice chairs to go over for a few minutes, and maybe one of the previous cohorts, maybe one of them you had on your meeting last month, if they would be willing to go, and just for a few minutes anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it only overlaps by a half an hour. It's 2:30 to 4 for the first timer orientation. So yeah, I feel like we could make that happen.
Yeah, especially if we kind of come in at the end of it, then because we'll be done.
Yeah.
So we send somebody, whether that's, one of us or a previous member, that'd be great. Okay. Yeah, so Colt, will you kind of help us get on that agenda and just let us know what time or what y'all need from us exactly, or?
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. So a question that I have is, since next year's AMPIC is so much later in the year, typically what the Academy has done is the new members meet in person for the first time at AMPIC, and then their webinars start like a month and a half, 2 months later, and they go for about a 10-month cycle. So they would get a shorter time period in the Academy. This is about next year's. So would y'all think that we should go ahead and still do our spring registration and then have a couple online meetings and then have a meetup in Minnesota and then keep going and then have our next one, or adjust the whole thing, or
Might depend on how early the following year's AMPIC is.
and I don't know the answer to that. Does it anything?
So I believe the so Minnesota's going to be September, and then we're going back to July in Atlanta, and then we're back to September in Pennsylvania
Okay.
a year after that, and then Tyrone's on. Tyrone, when do you think North Carolina's will be?
Right now, unofficially looking like August.
Okay, so I'm kind of thinking keep the schedule, but maybe have online stuff first, then meet in person, like for the second or third meeting, and just depending on when the AMPIC is, just let it slide around, but everything else kind of stay consistent if that's what y'all think would be best.
Yeah, just count the months between the
Yep.
AMPICs and see if we can fit it. If not, we'll have to start early.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, and I actually think meeting online a couple of times before we see them in person might even be better. They might have better engagement in person if they've already at least said hi to each other before or something. So get the basic introductions out of the way. Okay, cool. Yes, what is that saying? Blessed are the flexible, for they don't get bent out of shape. And if you are not, the extension is not for you. Anyway, that's, I mean, really all the information that I have to share, unless there's anything that y'all just really want to know about. Short and sweet, but things are positive and good, and I just don't have a lot to belabor about it. So thank y'all. All right. If y'all need anything else, any questions for us or comments, anybody else called or Laura, anybody wants to share anything else? Otherwise, I'm good.
Yeah,
Hey,
we're
bud.
just keeping on, keeping on.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much for your time today. Appreciate it.